Greetings, royal family. I'm back. All right, so Oprah actually sat down with the cast of the 4-part miniseries When They See Us. And she also sat down with the original Exonerated Five. They're no longer going by the name of the Central Park Five. But she sat down with the cast members as well as the real life gentlemen who endured this atrocious situation. All right, so royal family, hope you're doing all right. I want to give my thoughts. I did a video previously about the fact that Oprah was going to be sitting down with the Exonerated Five. But now I saw the interview and I wanted to jump on to give my reaction. So hopefully you guys can weigh in. Hopefully you guys seen it. You guys can give me your feedback respectfully, and we can just converse, because I like to converse. So the interview or the special opens up with Oprah introducing the cast members, some of the cast members, the younger versions of the Exonerated Five and the adult versions of the Exonerated Five. She also introduced some of the executive producers, some of the other executive producers. And lastly, she introduced Ava DuVernay herself. And I have to say, throughout the interview, I really like the fact that Ava DuVernay was very adamant about the fact that she wanted to tell the story of these now men. You know, she wanted to get it right. You know, she's a professional, and like she said in the special, you know, she's a fan of horror films, of drama, comedy, things like that. But she really was nervous, and she stated that she felt liberated in a sense when Corey, which is one of the Exonerated Five, stood up at the end of the movie and pointed to Ava and said to her, you know, you got it. She said she felt so humbled, you know, she felt relieved, so on and so forth. So again, shout out to Miss Ava DuVernay. She really is a visionary. LeVar Burton did tweet that he was very proud of her and that this is necessary for every American to watch. The When They See Us 4-part miniseries is necessary for every American to watch. And he referenced, you know, Roots, because LeVar Burton played Kunta Kinte on the miniseries Roots. So I just really am so happy for her, Ava DuVernay. I'm really happy for her that she used her gifts in a way that can evoke so much emotion with people, shed light on the justice system. And she did it in such a sensitive way. She did it in such a classy way, even though, you know, some of the scenes were graphic and tear-jerking. She got the point across. She got the message across. And I think that's what's the most important thing. And like she said, you know, the awards are nice and the accolades are nice, but she just really wanted these men's voice to be heard. And she addressed the men, the Exonerated Five, and said to them, you know, you no longer have to tell your story. This is like documented. You know what I mean? If anybody wants to know about the Central Park Five and the Central Park Jogger, they can reference this movie so that they know what these men had to endure, what they had to go through. So I really want to give, you know, props to Miss Ava DuVernay, and she truly is to be respected for her work. And bravo, sister, bravo. So Oprah, you know, starts to talk to the cast of When They See Us. She starts to ask questions. Niecy Nash was there. Darn, what's his name? I can never remember a name. Jason Jackson, what's his name? My man from Dawson's Creek, who played Pacey. First of all, I loved Dawson's Creek back in the day. Okay, am I dating myself? Whatever. And Pacey was my favorite character because I loved his name and I just loved his personality. So it was good to see him still working. He aged very well. And he also said something very, very profound. You know, Oprah asked him what was this experience like for him, having to play, I think he was one of the gentleman's lawyers, I don't remember who, but he did say that, that his character was on the right side of the legal system, and as far as how he feels about the justice system, it's definitely anything but. And what he meant was, the word justice. You know what I mean? These men, the system didn't do these men any justice. So I thought that was really profound. And I love the fact that a lot of these young actors really understood the significance of this film. And I love the fact that these young actors, they're so aware, for lack of a better word. They're so aware. And I love the art of acting. A little fun fact about me, when I was a young gal, I always wanted to be an actress. I wanted to do comedy. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. I wanted to do drama. So I have a passion for actors, because we turn on the TV and we see these actors playing these roles, but a lot of people don't understand the psychological impact that a role can have on an individual. And the fact that these young actors, honored their craft and took their craft seriously to have vocal coaches so that they can sound like, one of the exonerated five. They really spent time with these real men, and it just shows that they take this seriously, and it's really an art form in every sense of the word. So bravo to the young men and the women as well, who had to go into character and kind of tell a story that will reach the audience and impact the audience. Niecy Nash, she talked about speaking to the mother. I don't remember who. I didn't see When They See Us. There's a reason why I didn't see it yet, and I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I'll try, but I don't know. But that's a whole nother topic. But Niecy Nash often talked about, she talked about embodying the role of the mother of one of the gentlemen. I don't remember who she was the mother of. If you remember, guys, if you've seen it, just comment below. Correct me. I'm not above correction. So she talked about Niecy Nash talked about speaking with one of the exonerated five's mother. And, she wanted to keep the conversation that she had with this woman, confidential, which I totally respect. And Niecy Nash stated that her takeaway is that regardless of how many years ago that this situation happened, you're expected to kind of brush it off and get over it. And it's still like on the surface of your heart. And Niecy Nash said something that resonated with me, because I felt like, oh my God, is she telling my life story slightly? She stated that, when she was younger, she saw a woman, an elegant woman on TV, and she asked her mother who was that. And I forgot who she said it was. I'm so terrible. My memory is getting bad. I'm getting old, y'all. And she said that, the same people that could make you laugh can definitely make you cry. So I think that Niecy Nash was very proud to be playing this role, because we know Niecy Nash as kind of like a comedian, not a dramatic actress. So this, I think, is really good for her career. And yeah, I wish Niecy Nash nothing but the best, So she talked about always wanting to be an actress for the drama and things like that, but she got into comedy, and she didn't really think that she could thrive being a comedian. And I feel like the right place at the right time, she put in a lot of work, and she got this role, and she will always be remembered for this role, because this When They See Us miniseries is definitely going to go down in history. Just like most of us are still talking about Roots. Roots is very much relevant. I don't know if some of you who are parents to younger children, if you've ever shown your kids the Roots documentary. I know I have. My daughter is 11 years old, and she's seen Roots when she was, I think, 8. Yeah, she's seen Roots when I think she was 8 years old, 8 and 9, something like that. So hopefully future generations will be able to see When They See Us and understand and have a conversation with their parents and their parents can educate them with the justice system and how it's not always fair, and at any moment and any time, your freedom could definitely be snatched from you. And that's what one of the the exonerated five said. They thought, like, what they learned from this was that at any moment and any time, like, their freedom could be, like, gone. And just seeing those men, I mean, man, I don't honestly, I talked about in my previous video when I found out that Oprah was going to be sitting down with the cast as well as the exonerated five. I was nervous because I said to myself, I wonder what angle Oprah is going to take when interviewing these actors and actresses, as well as these men who were in prison for years, you know what I mean? And is she going to kind of tap into the psychological damage? Is she going to admit that she herself thought that these men were guilty? And I'm not judging Oprah I know some people in the comments in my previous video were like going in unnecessarily, because I think they missed the point of the conversation that I was, trying to spark up. But whatever, that's not my responsibility. But I thought that I wondered if she would apologize and she herself admit to the fact that she thought that they were guilty, along with millions of other people in the world. And I don't, even if she, back then she thought that they were guilty, I don't think it makes her a bad person. I think it is the fact that the media had a lot to do with persuading people into thinking that these men were guilty. So, I just thought that the men telling their stories and seeing them now, my goodness, I don't know if I could go through a fraction of what they went through, right? And be able to sit in front of millions of people and be so articulate, be so rational. And I'm pretty sure it took some time for them to get there. But I tell you, that Youssef, that man is really, really something special. I did get an opportunity to watch some of his other talks. He did speak at a university. I don't remember which one. And, he was just talking, and he just speaks so eloquently. He speaks from a place of reason. They're alive. For God's sake and by God's grace, those men are alive. How many people do you know or have heard of that went to jail wrongfully or rightfully, and they die in prison, they're killed in prison, they come out and they have just have so much trauma? And I don't doubt that these men have psychological trauma, but they're still willing to talk to the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, their heart is not, at least what we see now, what it was like when they first were released, when they were exonerated, I'm not really sure. We don't know, but they're still willing to talk to the world, to participate in getting their story out. There was one of them, I think his name was Antoine. He stated that, he was really like messed up. He said that he's not right. He said that he needs help. And when he said that, I breathed a sigh of relief, and my heart just got so happy, because in this country, from my experience, you don't see a lot of black men. Not that there isn't any. I have to specify that for the trolls that are going to make comments. Not that there isn't any, but you don't oftentimes see it advertised that black men admit to having, psychological issues, emotional issues, and need help. And the fact that he was on national TV and he said, I'm not right, I need help, because his mom did pass away recently from cancer. He said, he does have children, he has a wife, so that's his support system. So the mere fact that he said, I'm not right, he hates his father, and because his father left him. I think he was the gentleman who his father, no, it wasn't him. Anyway, he said that he hates his father because his father left, you know what I mean? And his mom died, and he said, I'm not right, I need help. And let me tell you something. There's so many people walking around who need help, but they're afraid to admit it. This man said that on national television, and I really hope that a lot of people paid attention to that, because that's not something for some people that's easy to admit, like when you need help. He said that one of his survival tactics when he was incarcerated was that he was rebellious. He started working out, and I guess started like pumping iron, getting bigger so that he can defend himself. And it's just I'm just so amazed. Like I'm amazed that these men went through this, and I'm pretty sure that there's probably things that we didn't even, or that wasn't shown in the documentary when they see us, or in the docuseries when they see us, that they went through. And it's like they went through like the depths of hell. Like they literally walked through the depths of hell, came out, and it doesn't even look like, they don't look like anything that they've been through. Like, man, listen, it's by the grace of the Almighty alone that is so. And again, these men sharing their story, or they all gave praises to or gave kudos to Ava DuVernay. And I think that you could tell that they felt comfortable. And Ava, like she said, it wasn't about the accolades. She just wanted the right story to be told so that people can see that these type of things happen. So now that you know this information, and the Exonerated Five is just a high profile example of many other individuals who are wrongfully accused, incarcerated wrongfully. And Ava posed a question like, what are you going to do about it now? Now that you have this information, now that you see this, what are you going to do about it now? And Oprah asked the men also, do they blame Linda Feinstein or whatever, which was the head of the prosecution team, and she was also a head of the sex crimes unit. And they all emphatically said, yes, of course they're gonna blame her. Of course they are. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they had evidence that the DNA from these men did not match any DNA found near or on the Central Park jogger. Yet that's what I don't get. You have evidence that these men, any of these five boys then, none of their DNA matched up with any of the DNA that you found at the scene. So how is it in the United States of America that these men were found guilty? And Ava DuVernay stated that, the justice system is not flawed. It's actually doing what it's meant to do, which is, not provide justice for anyone that looks like me, or any of these men. And I've come to find out that Corey, which is one of the Exonerated Five, he was in a completely separate facility than the other four. And just watching his body language, and I know my hair is all over the place, but who cares, whatever. Watching his body language during this interview or during this special was really interesting to me, because I observed such pain, rightfully so, such pain. He gave me he gave me that he was nervous. It's still a touchy subject, and one of Corey's friends stated that, he told Ava DuVernay that he wanted Corey's story to be amplified because he was in a completely separate facility and he went through so much. And mind you, Corey was just there to check on his friend. Like, he wasn't even a part of the original four men who were brought in for questioning. He went to go see about his friend, and he got dragged into this. And Oprah asked Corey, do you regret even going? And he honestly answered. He said, yeah. He said, yeah. And it's just so sad that, like, corruption and just wickedness, there's no other word to describe it besides wickedness. And it costs these men time, from their families. It costs them being wrongfully accused, costs them being in jail. And it's so sad. But I'm a firm believer, just like Yusuf said, the truth can't stay hidden for long. And he oftentimes meditated and said that he envisioned himself getting out one day. And Youssef he's done a couple of speeches um, where he talked at different colleges and stuff. And I did get an opportunity to kind of go back and look. And Youssef said that I think it was Corey and another one of the gentlemen were brought to the scene in Central Park, or the location in Central Park where the assault actually happened. And Yusuf said that, the officer told Corey, hey, your shoelace is untied. And to which he bent down to tie his shoelaces. And when when he was tying his shoelaces, the officer bumped him so that Corey can fall in the blood, because this was right after it happened, so that he can fall in the blood, so that they can say, like, see, there's this woman's DNA on him. And it's like, what kind of wicked do you have to be? What level of wicked do you have to be for you to do something like that? And I believe that the judge, the prosecutors, all of them already had, obviously, evidence that these men didn't do it, but they had to fill some void. They had to probably continue to fill the prison system. The prosecutor probably wanted, a big win. They probably wanted to give the public answers, what I mean? So these 5 men, unfortunately, were the victims of greed, maliciousness, wickedness. And it's just like, damn, you wonder, like, I don't know. It's just all bad. It's just all bad, because there's so many other people sitting in jail facing the same, like, ridicule and punishment for something that they didn't do. People on death row, people have been executed for crimes that they didn't commit. And I thought that the sit down, I was cringing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was cringing because I was wondering, like, all right, what is Oprah gonna say? I wasn't even really, I paid attention to her questions, but honestly, I didn't even really care if Oprah said anything that came across offensive or said anything that wasn't right. I just really wanted to hear from these men. You know what I mean? I was more focused on the actor's experience, Ava DuVernay, what her thoughts were, and the exonerated 5. I really, that all of that overshadowed whatever it is I think about Oprah, whether she's like trying to jump on the bandwagon or whatever. Honestly, and I'm glad, because I didn't want this to be like an Oprah bashing. I don't even really care. Like, she was there, fine. And I did think, though, that what if Iyanla would have sat down and talked to these actors, actresses, and these men, right? Like, Anton, he could definitely benefit from counseling. Oprah did state to him, or asked him, like, don't you think that you owe it to yourself, or it would be beneficial for you to have counseling? He said no. He said his wife tries to get him to go to counseling. He just keeps himself busy. He's not trying to go to counseling. He works. His kids are his biggest, inspiration, his wife. So I do hope that one day that he will look into counseling, because he doesn't deserve to walk around with all that pain, even though he has every right to be angry about what happened to him. He does. You know what I mean? But I don't want to sound insensitive. That's not my objective, but I just want him to live. You know what I mean? Like, live and have everything that his heart desires without the anger and the pain. But it's easier said than done, because he has every right to be angry. He has every right to be in pain, and he said that he didn't have enough money to buy his mother a kidney, or a liver, or anything like that. And his mom died of cancer. So it's just like one traumatic situation that you don't heal from into another traumatic situation, losing your mom. It's like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, damn. But overall, my thoughts were, it was extremely great. Not because Oprah did or didn't make it great, but I really respect Ava DuVernay. And I really respect and honor those men, the actors as well, for doing such a great job, and they were fairly young, but they learned. I'm pretty sure that this is something that they are going to remember forever. And for the exonerated five, I can't say anything but the fact, except for the fact that God is definitely on your side, man. And regardless, not regardless, I don't want to say regardless, but even though you endured some of the craziest things, some of the hardest things, probably things we'll never know, not that we need to know, you know, you were exonerated. And yes, you can't get that time back, but it's really, really good to see that you guys are all alive and well, working on it, you know what I mean? And willing to sit in front of everyone who doubted you, everyone who said that you should have been executed, everyone who said that, you know, probably uttered racial slurs, and to say, I'm still here. Look at me now, you know? And I think it's appropriately titled When They See Us Now. And my energy is kind of like maybe low during this video, but I'm just still in awe because I watched it earlier. I recorded it and I watched it earlier, and I had to watch certain parts back because it was real heavy. And I didn't even see When They See Us because, again, if you remember from my previous video, I'm very familiar with this case. I was, 7, 9, 10, around that age range. And this was the talk in my household. And I did follow it when I got to high school. One of my high school teachers talked about it, which was surprising. They got in trouble for it because I went to a Catholic high school, Catholic grammar school, and also college. You know, it just opened up more discussion. So I've been very familiar with this, and I still don't know if I'm going to see When They See Us. I know everyone is saying that, you know, you should see it, Roy, you should see it, you definitely should see it, but I don't know. I just am glad to see that these men are alive and well. They're husbands, fathers, and they can definitely continue to contribute to the discussion of the flawed justice system. And I just honor them. There's nothing else that I can say, man. I really, really, really honor them. And Ava DuVernay, you a real one, yo. You really a real one. So Royal Family, get down in the comments. Sorry for my energy being a little bit, you know, serious, but this is heavy. And let me know what you think. Did you catch the interview? If you saw When They See Us, you know, talk about that. You know what I mean? Get down in the comments and give your opinion. This is not about Oprah. And my last video, the comments were good. Some of them were good, and then you had some trolls that I had to, like, you know, we sweep away the dirt. But this is not about Oprah. And I thought, like I said, I was cringing the whole time because I said to myself, what is Oprah going to try to spin this around to be? I do have my opinions about some of the questions and the way she asked the questions, but I'm not even going to give that. Let's talk about these brave men who are still, these brave black men that are alive to tell their story, man. Get down in the comments. Tell me what you think about When They See Us. Tell me what you think about the special When They See Us Now. What are your thoughts about Ava DuVernay, the acting? Let's just converse on a positive vibe. Yeah, that's about it. Like this video if you like it. Make sure you comment. I love reading your comments, Royal Family. And until next time, peace.